Hello and welcome to Hardy Party at 5.5. How's it going?
I'm doing pretty good, Rebecca.
Hey, do you remember that time that I wrote that rap for the baseball team?
Oh, yes, I do.
I told them if they went like, what was it? Like their record had to be a certain number record.
Yeah.
That I would write this little silly little rap for them and like try to pinpoint all of them. Well, I mean, I am not any kind of singer-songwriter, definitely not a songwriter, but I do like to dabble in the spoofs a little bit.
Can I pause you just a second? I think this is a moment where I'm going to have to put that video in of your rap.
Oh, okay. Drop it right here.
It's right there.
Jay seems to always have a smile on his face, but we're wondering if he got the sign to steal another base. Garrett moves around like a little stick of dynamite, dropping back and digging, and this boy has got a lot of fight. Dropping those moves to block those pitches. Hopefully Corgan won't split his britches. He stops a lot of pitches with his shoulders so wide, and when he goes to hit, he really gives the ball a ride. Connor is our lead-off hitter. He forgets a lot of stuff, but he's still not a quitter. He plays a lot of positions because he's got mad skills. You think I'm kidding? No, I'm for real. At our house, we call Reed Ninja Hands. He's making lots of plays, and he's got a lot of fans. Any day now, he's gonna hit a dinger. He even played with us with a broken finger. They call him Coco Chris, and some call him Ming Ming. Inside the park, grand slams make him sing, sing. He's kind of hard-headed, but we like him a lot. And when he hits the ball, he really likes the sweet spot. Micah is a student and a learner of the game. His pitching is gonna bring him lots of fame. When he runs the bases, he has to say hi because he is our resident social butterfly. Alex is forever the coach's son. He takes it all in stride, but sometimes it's not much fun. He's scooping up the ball. He's making lots of plays. Some people even call him Lil Bell Trey. Devin pitches fastballs like he's dropping it hot. The batters wonder if they should swing or not. He's throwing out Ks and he's picking off the runner. The other teams are learning you don't mess with the Thunder.
Okay,
Hey, good job.
back. Thank you.
You were flowing on that one, Rebecca. I particularly like the backup dancers. Art and I were really,
You were getting
we
it.
brought the whole
That's
scene
right.
together.
Yes, I
Yeah.
spent some time on that. One song, like one, it wasn't really a song, but one, yeah.
It was a song.
Okay, one
Yeah.
song. I cannot imagine sitting down to just write an album. Like that would take me 5 years. I don't even understand. That tells you right there that I'm like not actually just gifted with this.
Yeah.
But our guest today is extremely gifted with this. These lyrics to the songs he writes are so touching. He's very thoughtful in his processes. I love some of the things he talks about today in our interview with David Tribble. You are gonna really enjoy this.
Waking up to you. Waking up to you. Waking up to you. You're my morning coffee, the stars in my eyes.
Well, thank you for waking up early and taking time to talk to Hardy Party at 5.5. We're excited to chat with you today.
Oh, happy to be here. Thank you. And I've been up a while. I don't sleep late anymore, so that doesn't happen. Maybe down the road, but
Yeah.
I'm not worried about it.
I am much more of a morning person than Scott is.
Yeah, you are.
He would rather do a late night podcast, and I'm like, let's go.
Yeah. It's good to have that balance, though. My 10-year-old's a morning person, and I'm like, you're a morning person, and no one else is.
Yeah.
Just
Even
kind of
now.
understand that dynamic.
Yeah, be kind to the rest of us, please.
Yeah.
Because you're up like, I mean, it's nuts. I'm like, how long have you been up?
That's awesome. I love it. So anyways, we just want to jump right in and talk to you about all things music because we've been listening to you for quite a while now and got to see you at a couple different places that we've been just always enjoying your music. So tell us about you growing up. Like, what was it like growing up in your house? Were you guys a musical family? Were you always about instruments and music?
No, I was just a big kid who wanted to play outside. I didn't want to sit down and focus on anything unless it had like outside involved, or a ball or a bike or dirt or something. So no, music came really late in my life. But I think it came from stemming, just needing a way to express myself. And, I think that's something that we all have to kind of find a way to do, right? It's a healthy way to do. And, I come from a split home, and my parents were in seventh grade. My parents split up, and so I was back and forth doing the weekend thing, and I was in and out of schools. I left my high school when I was in ninth grade for about a year and a half, and then I went back, and so it was kind of this huge, giant gap hole of my friendship that just wasn't established. And so anyway, I started to journal my feelings, and I was just like writing down whatever came to my mind as soon as possible when I got, a chance when I was younger and in high school. And so for me, writing came first.
Yeah. Okay.
Which is really a cool part of my story, because I didn't know how to play the guitar. I turned it down when I was a kid. I mean, my parents, tried to give me lessons, and piano even, and I had no interest.
Oh, really?
And even learning like the simplest songs, like "Go to the Zoo," So I didn't care how many stickers I got. It didn't matter. I just did not want to sit there and do it. And so writing came first, and I started journaling, started expressing myself that way. And some days it would just scribble. It was just a way to physically express. And then when I was about 17, 18, I learned how to play the guitar. My stepdad had a I think it was a Honda guitar or a Tokyo guitar. It was like this old, like, piece of junk guitar, and he had a book. And I was like, I'm going to teach myself a few chords. I feel like this is the time for me to do that. And so, I mean, honestly, that's kind of where it came from. That's how the two things combined together. And then I started writing songs pretty soon after that.
That's so cool. So, like, what are your earliest bands that you started to fall in love with? Anything that you stands out as like the young ones you used to listen to?
I think I was a huge Goo Goo Dolls fan.
Okay.
Yeah.
Goo Goo Dolls were quite my jam, and Switchfoot was another one. I remember we would wake up to Kim 6A, which is a song of theirs, every morning when I was in college. I'd be like, yo, we're waking up to this. And my roommate was like a football player, and he was like, what is this? I was like, dude, don't worry, you'll like it. It'll wake us up, because he was not a person either.
Yeah.
And so, so those are some of the early on bands. I mean, I listened to the Wallflowers CD, I remember one of the first CDs I listened to was that one, like, over and over and over again. I'd be doing like model cars, and I'd just be listening to Wallflowers, and I was like happiest kid ever. My dad introduced me to like ZZ Top and Boston and stuff like that. Like, he would give me cassette tapes and stuff. He's like, hey, some of these songs are pretty good. And I was like, all right, cool, check it out. So
that's awesome.
Didn't have a huge influence in music in my life. And that's kind of probably stems from the fact that I'm pretty much not trying to emulate anyone else in music, and because I don't really know how to, it's just more of an innocent approach to my music, because I didn't listen to a lot of music. I don't have music that I run to go listen to I don't. I mean, it's just not what I do as a musician. I come at it from a very organic and original direction. So
So when did that turn into church playing at churches? Because that's obviously where we met you. Was playing in our youth group area.
Yeah.
So when did that move into that?
So it all kind of shifted right around when I was graduating high school and going into college. So I stayed at junior college for a couple of years, and then I went to Stephen F. Austin. And then once I got to Stephen F. Austin, I got involved with the church, and the church was really open to having musicians play. And whether you were, they would even let me get on the big, in Sunday mornings, and there was these little cubbies where you could sit and you could play whatever instrument you wanted to. You could play guitar, you could play a trumpet. But you weren't plugged in, right? It was more and it was just a Baptist church. It was just. But I remember getting up there and playing guitar and just picking around in my own little world. While the worship was going on and stuff. So it was a cool intro to just having the the confidence to be like, hey, I'm going to get in front of people and play,
Yeah.
and not really worrying about the outcome. And then I would also do that for the worship band. The friend of mine was a worship leader. He's like, yeah, man, you can come on stage unplugged and play guitar just to be a body, up there.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I was like, all right, cool. Yeah. So, he gave me that chance to learn the songs and just get up there and figure out how that works. And then one day he just said, hey, I'm not going to be there. So you're going to lead worship today.
Yeah.
And that was a rough day. I struggled through it all, but that was my first introduction into worship, just being able to lead worship and say, okay, this is it, like
So fun.
it's all, this is what worship leading is, and so that's kind of how that got going.
Yeah.
And then I think after that, I didn't lead worship again. I don't think I led worship again after that. That was one of those things I kind of developed as time went on, finding different opportunities and stuff. And fast forward, 10 years or so, I've been leading worship on and off. So
Oh, that's crazy.
it's been a huge part of my journey.
Our oldest son, Drew, you know who Drew is. He plays guitar and he played other instruments and so forth too, but he went to Colorado when he first got up there. He's visiting all these churches, and I mean, there's not a lot of big Baptist-y type churches up there. It's been some small churches.
Yeah.
And he visited a church one Sunday and walked in, and he's 6'4", and he's wearing a bright orange shirt because he went to Oklahoma State, and he's eye-catching.
He doesn't fit in.
Yeah, the pastor beelines towards him and just has a 5-minute conversation with him before church starts. Figures out he's a music major and speaks the music language. And the guy says, so have you ever led worship? And Drew was like, yeah, I was actually in a worship band in Oklahoma. And he goes, oh, so you play the keys? He said, yeah, I can play the keys. He said, can you play today?
Whoa.
Drew was like, sure, what's the set?
Yeah. Oh, I'm so glad he said yes. That's so cool.
So Drew, I said, you visited a church, and on the first day you also led worship there. He was like, yeah, pretty much. And I guess
that's so awesome.
Their worship team, I mean, it was kind of during COVID time, so there might have been some, illness or something. Who knows? They weren't there, but the pastor actually played the guitar. Drew played the keys with him. Drew doesn't really sing, so the pastor led most of it. But he was cracking me up about that.
That's funny.
Yeah,
I didn't know he was into worship at all. I just guess I missed that.
Yeah. He
at OSU, he started a little band at their church. And started
so
there.
Now he's in Colorado. He's a raft guide on a river. So he.
Oh wow.
Yeah, he I don't even know if he has he sleeps in a tent most of the time.
I think he has a guitar.
I think he has his guitar in his tent.
Yeah. Oh man, what a life! I bet he loves it.
Yeah, he loves it.
Man.
I want to go back to just something you said about your journaling and all that. I think it speaks to youth because we kind of forget because we're older. It's like all youths go through that time where you're confused. There can be depression. And I just love that how you just talked us through. You found a healthy way to get through that because every youth feels that,
Yeah. I mean, it's something as simple as putting your phone down and writing it on paper.
Right,
I didn't have the phone issue, right? I didn't have that distraction, but the Lord was kind of working in me through that because He knew how important that was going to be later on, right? I mean, you don't know what He's working on and what He's doing, but He's usually always working, and so that's something. And my faith it didn't grow a whole lot until I got into college and started kind of meeting people that showed me who the Lord was, outside of the youth groups and stuff. Cause I did all that. I went all the camps and I was in the youth groups and stuff. So, I mean, and sometimes, I mean, you don't know what these kids are dealing with and,
right.
And you never know what's going to, trigger them to be like, oh yeah, that makes sense. I'll just write it down on paper, or I'll just, whatever. But yeah, just a crazy, simple way for me to express and write down, mumble,
and process all those feelings you're having.
Yeah.
Mumbling on paper, and doodling. And I'm a doodler, so that kind of I like to doodle. But
Okay, so we want to talk about you're a singer-songwriter, so you write all your songs. And I was thinking of, okay, what's your creative process? And I thought of Phil Collins because that's one of my favorites. And I
okay.
know I've seen interviews with him, and he says he'll just get at the piano, he'll come up with a rhythm or something or a melody, and later on he'll figure out what the words are to that. So
Yeah.
what's like your technique when you sit down to write a song?
So I think it can come out a few different ways. Get my dog out of the way. Get over there. And but like this morning, and it's kind of funny as I did read your question. I was like, I'm not. I mean, I don't have a specific way, but more and more, I realize when I pick up the guitar and just start strumming, and I get a way better feel of where I'm headed with the song. But honestly, words probably come to me first, which isn't that big of a surprise considering that's how it started for me.
Right.
I
Yeah.
was just sitting in my chair thinking, I put my mind in a pole position, and I just thought I'm gonna write a song about that, and I did, and I just thought how important it is for us to just be aware of our mind and where it's at,
Yeah.
because I think if we start with our mind, then our body will follow, kind of thing.
Mhm.
So anyway,
Yeah.
to answer your question, I feel like words come to me, and they come to me in church a lot, so I'll write them on my phone. So just like phrases, man, phrases, and then once I pick up the guitar, I kind of have a feel of where I want the song to go, whether it's it's a happy song or a fast song or a slow song or a ballad or something like that, and then I can kind of pick up the guitar and just kind of go that direction with it, because this song was kind of emotional and kind of like dark, but happy. So I started on a minor chord, and so it just made sense. And anyway,
Yeah.
I posted on my Instagram this morning, honestly, because I just really thought it was a good song and it spoke to me. And I need to get better about sharing those little moments like that because that's
Absolutely.
kind of what it's worth.
Yeah.
So what was the first? Do you remember the first song you wrote? Can you?
Dude, I do remember the first song I wrote, but I can't find it anywhere. I'm
Oh,
really
yeah.
mad. I mean, I've been around for a minute, so
Yeah.
probably parchment paper by now. But
Scroll
it was-
somewhere, and you got to find the scroll.
I'm pretty sure the name of it was Heart of Smiles,
Yeah.
Part of
which is a
Smile.
horrible name, and I would never want to release a song called Heart of Smiles. But it was written in blue ink. I remember I wrote it in blue ink on a piece of paper in my spiral notebook. I remember that. I can see it like right now, and I had some scribbles, and it was my first song, man. And I wrote it in my mom's house when I was living with her out there with my stepdad, and it was pretty soon after I started kind of learning how to play the guitar. So that was the Heart of Smiles.
Yeah, that's so
That's
funny.
awesome.
It's a shame you can't find that and frame it.
Yeah.
Oh man, I know. I wish I could. But after that, gosh, I can't remember. I mean, I started recording songs after that, like pretty, and once I got through like being single and I got married, I started learning how to record songs. Before that, I didn't have any clue. I still don't, but I mean, it's just more about like direction, I think. So
Yeah, that's funny. I think it's such a gift and such a talent. The only thing I can do is write spoofs. I love to write spoof songs, like
Yeah, you
changing
do.
Okay.
lyrics but have to rhyme with the original lyric. Like it's fun for me, but it's nothing.
okay.
Weird Al.
Yeah, the Weird Al of of 52-year-old women. So
Well, I'd be interested to hear those.
but what you have is like an incredible gift and talent. So anyway, so you get to perform a lot locally here in the DFW area. What do you like about performing live?
Okay, yeah, and I like that question, and because I mean, there's no better thing to me than playing live, and I mean, I think what I thrive on a lot of times is just unpredictability of live settings.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm no stranger to being caught off guard or in a moment where I didn't expect it. I mean, I don't know a stranger, you know what I mean? I'm that kind of person. It's my personality. So if I can get really, really relaxed when I'm playing live, then I mean, it's just a lot of fun, and it's music is what I love so much, and being able to share that and stuff like that, it just fires me up, and the moments that can occur through music and the way it hits you. I mean, it's just, there's nothing like it. So
Yeah.
to just have a little piece of that, and it's super inspiring. I'm so blessed, and any chance I get, I just realize it's just an opportunity for something really cool to happen, and I'm here for it.
Yeah, it's probably really good energy to
Yeah.
be around that. Anything crazy ever happen? Like a little kid come up to you or anything? Somebody unplug your stuff?
No, I think I've unplugged my own stuff before. But I mean, I don't really have a whole lot of like crazy stories. I mean, I think I started the song in the wrong key a few times at Reese Prairie Baptist Church when I was there back in the day. But I mean, it's just I don't have a lot of
What do you
crazy
do
stories.
when you do that? Do you start over or do you just write it out and see if you can hit those notes?
I think I stopped and started over.
Oh, okay.
Because everyone was like, if you don't play in the right key, we're not going to know what key you're in, like, so.
Oh, you had other people playing with you.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
We were practicing, we play with a whole band, and so I had to kind of like eat it, kind of like, oh man.
It was me. That was me. Yeah.
That was me, this guy right here. That's why I'm in the back, you see.
So take us to the studio. Like you're talking about how you love live performing. Take us to the studio. What's that all about? It seems like a totally different animal in the studio then.
It is, and the studio used to be pretty intimidating. And I've had trouble like capturing truly who I am in a studio because of that. And I think that's something that it takes some people a little longer than others, but I think what I've learned from that is to do it a little more natural for me instead of like doing everything one thing at a time and layering it. Sometimes I just do one takers, which I've gotten pretty comfortable with doing. So it's just sitting down with the microphone on the guitar and on the vocal and just letting it be like a solo performance, Yeah. And so those are moments that I really try to hone in on. I mean, and this new album, there's tons of layering. There's tons of, they call it comping. And so you comp like a vocal, you comp guitar, and you put it all separately so you can tweak it individually. Does that make sense? So it can just sound super smooth and great. And so we did that, and it sounds amazing. And I don't have anything against that, but there's something about the one takers that I'm super in tune with, and we did 3 of those on the album. So there's 3 like acoustic-y kind of looser tracks that I just love so much because that's just kind of what I do half the time, play with myself, and sing acoustic. So
cool.
But the studio is just get out of your own head, just like seriously, and enjoy the moment. I mean, there's so many other people in the studio, and so I think the more you can give, the more you get out of that. That you can just be so encouraging to everyone else, and then just when your time comes, you knock it out and have fun, and like I said, get out of your head and trust the process. I mean, I had a producer for this album, and honestly, I didn't really second guess a whole lot that he did because I trusted him, and I felt like that relationship that we had was just built on that trust. And, I mean, when you ask someone to produce your album, you have to let go of some things.
Yeah.
You have to say, well, I'm gonna let go of a little bit of the control and trust you, and that you know me well enough to make sure that it's the best version. So, and I think we nailed that. And
that's awesome.
So
yeah, that's really cool. I'm sure that's very important to have a producer you can trust.
Exactly. And sometimes it doesn't work out that well. Sometimes I've worked with people where it's just been like, it just wasn't a great fit, and I had to ride out that storm. And maybe next time I say, hey, I'm just going to probably duck out, and we're not going to finish this thing. But
it's all a learning process.
All a learning process.
Well, speaking of perfect fit, tell us about your wife, Erin.
Oh man.
How long have you guys been married?
14 years, July 3rd.
Okay. Congratulations.
July 3rd.
That's coming up,
Okay, just right.
Yeah, it's coming up. I got the trip planned already.
Oh, good.
Okay,
good.
No gifts or anything, but
is it a surprise, or does she know about it?
What's that?
Is it a surprise, or does she know about it?
She knows about it. She knows. I don't surprise her anymore. I surprised her in Mexico, and we almost like lost our lives, I think. So it was scary because we were in like a town that we didn't even know about, and
Oh
there was
goodness.
like people with like, guns just sitting out on the entranceway, and we were the only white people in the hotel,
Oh dear.
and it was the creepiest thing. And we spent one night, and it was the worst experience. And then we were like, okay, it doesn't matter how much money, we're going to go to a different resort, and we found one with a whole bunch of like tourists,
Yeah.
But who booked the trip? I did. I booked the trip.
Yeah.
And it was from one of those, like, remember those apps that give you discounts on trips back in the day?
Yeah.
Like Groupon or whatever, yeah.
Yes, it was from one of those, man.
Yeah.
And I was thinking, oh, this is great. And then it just got worse and worse. And we looked around, and we were sitting in the lobby, and we looked around, and like there was not a single American in there.
Oh wow.
It was very uncomfortable. I mean, especially for my wife, because she that's not her thing. But no more surprises.
No more surprises.
You got to make sure you run it by her now.
Yeah, especially with two.
I'm fine.
Especially with two girls. From a mom, I'm gonna need to plan some things, out for the children and all of that. So
yeah, I like surprises, so they enjoy that.
Yeah.
Trying to surprise dad, but me, no, not part of my bag.
So you have two girls, and how old are they?
10 and 5.
No, can you remind me, are both of them from the Miracle of Adoption?
One of them.
One of them is Miracle of Adoption.
Harper is our biological daughter. She's 10, and then Emberly is 5, and she was adopted.
Okay, from local domestic.
Gladney.
Okay, yeah.
Gladney Adoption Agency.
Yes, I don't know if you know, Drew is adopted, our oldest son.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, so we share that one. Yeah.
So cool. Well, the last 2 podcasts I've done, the other person giving the podcast has adopted some child.
Yeah, that's cool. So cool.
Yeah.
What a cool thing. So you have Father's Day coming up. Are you prepared with your best dad jokes?
So oddly enough, the pastor at my church, I'm leading worship just right down the road from you guys at South Burleson Baptist Church.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
That's where I'm at right now, just helping them out. It's been about 8 months, 9 months or so. Anyway, he was like, "Hey, we're gonna tell some dad jokes on Father's Day. Let's go ahead and get some going." And they had a list of a few, and then I got some, and
So you
like these, I like those, and so I did a little contest on my Instagram, and see which one people like the most. And honestly, I think the one that people like the most, I'm kind of looking it up, is the one that says, "When does a joke become a dad joke?"
I know the answer to this.
You do know?
Yes,
don't know
but
it.
I'm gonna let him say it.
I'm a dad and I don't know it.
Yeah.
When it becomes apparent.
Wow. Yeah, that's a dad joke for sure. I gotta write that one down.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah, my favorite one was, "Why was the fish blushing?"
I also know this one, but I can't remember. Yes. Oh my goodness. I don't remember.
Because it saw the ocean's bottom.
Oh, that's right.
Oh man.
Yeah, so those are some fun ones. We
Yeah.
had some fun looking those up.
That's hilarious.
I'm gonna have to use those on Sunday.
Oh dear goodness, it'll be
Yeah.
great.
Oh, man.
Yeah. So
And one of my favorites that no one really liked was, why does a dad who's going golfing take 2 pairs of socks?
I don't know the answer to this one.
Oh gosh, I don't know.
In case he gets a hole in one.
Oh, that's a good one. I like that one.
Yeah, I'm a golfer, so that's why I like that one. No one else was a fan of that one, so it didn't make the cut.
Yeah, that's funny. So you have your latest song, "Waking Up to You." It's dedicated to your daughters. What are you trying to convey to them with that song? What's the meaning behind it?
Man, I sat down with Luke Wade. Was a friend of mine. He's a Fort Worth guy. He's from Fort Worth, and he lives in LA now. He was on The Voice. He works for The Voice now. So we had a little bit of a voice, thing in common, since I was kind of part of it in 2014 or something like that. And anyway, so I just said, "Hey man, you want to write?" And we made it happen in November last year. And he was like, let's what are you dealing with? What's your life like? So he tried to focus in on me. He just got married probably 4 or 5 years ago and doesn't have any kiddos. so it was really selfless of him to be like, "Hey, man, let's write something for you." And he knew I had an album coming out too. So the song is a really beautiful approach on how your kids inspire you to just be the best person you can be for them, not just for yourself, but to shine a light for them as well. And so there's a lot of that sentiment, and then showing them the way, and teaching them how to dream, and they're going to learn how to walk, but you're going to teach them how to run, things like that. So it's just a beautiful approach to a song that we just were able to capture, and it's different, but it's not like, hey, you need to just be better for your kids. It's not like that. It comes from a really cool perspective, and the fact that you're waking up to your kids and waking up to your life, and if kids are part of your life, then that's where it starts.
Yeah.
I mean, you know what I mean? Like, it should, and hopefully it does. I mean, parenting is a full-time gig. But
never ending.
That's true. Yeah.
yeah, and that's what you sign up for, and so.
Yeah, it's great.
And that song comes out this week, right?
Yeah, it comes out Friday. Yeah,
Nice.
and it's funny because I posted something on Instagram, and I think it's kind of out in some areas. I don't think, because there's a way you can get it out a little early.
Yeah.
To the listeners. So anyway, if you dig around, you might find it now. Somebody might have had some early release action. No, it wasn't me, but yeah, for sure, it'll be out everywhere on Friday.
Awesome.
Great.
Excited to share it.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Okay, before we close, I want to just, because being a singer-songwriter and you started, a little after high school and all that, what would you say to someone, a younger guy or a younger girl that's wanting to do this? What's some advice you can give to them to become a singer-songwriter?
I think, and I recently talked to a 13-year-old kid who's doing this. It's kind of the same thing we're doing around Fort Worth. He's gigging. He's writing songs. He said he learned to play guitar during COVID.
Oh, yeah.
And he said he had like 200 songs he wrote. So I'm like, bro, man.
Wow.
Impressive, right?
Yeah.
And so anyway, he was asking me some things, my advice, and I just thought, at the end of the day, as a songwriter, the most important thing is to write good music. I think and so, because if you have good music, when your time comes, or when things fall your way, then I think having good music is the ultimate goal for you to be able to share that. In my case, I think it's about endurance. I had to kind of wait for my time. I had to be patient. I had to make sure the people that were a part of this journey were also on board with my dreams and with what I wanted to do. And if it wasn't the right time, it wasn't the right time. And I think, the Lord gave me patience and enough to fill my plate for the time being to get to this point. And then when my wife said, hey, let's just see if this can work as a musician, as full time, can you play enough shows to provide? And here we are about a year and a half later.
Yeah.
And God has just blessed the road and opened doors. And but also I've made contacts and connections.
Yeah.
And so making those connections, endurance, and just making good music, man. Stuff that you're proud of, stuff that you want to stick around for a long time, stuff that you want to share with your kids. Those songs matter,
That's such good advice, because I think not even just in your career, but in a lot of careers where kids, teens, college kids are anxious to jump ahead into whatever it is they think their next step is, but they cut their legs out from under them because they don't build those relationships and bonds of people that they're going to fall back on, or they're going to need to know later. And they they're just so anxious, but you gotta ride that through and make all those connections and meet all those people. And that's where your stability
and as a songwriter, you can still write songs. You still get your fulfillment. You just may not be financially stable to do it, but you know, that time just kind of has to work its way in, but you
Yes,
can
yeah.
still be writing, you can still be producing, you know, working with other people and getting yourself prepared for whatever may come.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that's
it's a
great.
unique thing.
Mhm.
Okay, so can you give us a little taste of the new song before we sign off?
Oh, sure.
Awesome. Yes.
I'm gonna sit back and relax and
Yeah,
enjoy this.
we're just gonna hang
All
out.
right, cool.
Personal
Yeah, I
concert.
got you. This is like I said, this is a song by me and Luke Wade. We wrote last year in November. It's going to be on the album and coming out on Friday. It's called "Waking Up to You." I was on the run from no one. Home was a stranger. Waking to every single day, right out of nowhere. You kick the door down. I see the light now. Gotta move for it's too late. Have you ever seen someone who first saw the sun, took their first step? Will you teach them to run? Waking up to you. You're my morning coffee, the stars in my eyes. Gotta see this through. I know you're counting on me to show you how to shine. Light, I was just guessing. Then came the blessing. Waking to every single day, making you Legos, stepping on Legos. Now I can't let go. Gotta show you how to dream. Have you ever seen someone who first saw the sun, took their first step? Will you teach them to run? Waking up to you. You're my morning coffee, the stars in my eyes. Gotta see this through. I know you're counting on me to show you how to shine like the stars in the desert sky. Shine like the sparks on 4th of July. I finally see the truth. Waking up to you. Waking up to you. Waking up to you. Oh, my morning coffee, the stars in my eyes. Gotta see this through. I know you're counting on me to show you how to shine. To show you how to shine.
I'm not crying, you're crying.
Dude, that's good stuff, man.
That's so good.
Oh, thank y'all so much.
That's
Yes,
awesome.
especially being
Yeah.
like on this phase of life and,
Yeah.
And seeing,
Kind of looking back at it.
yeah, looking back at that, the Legos, the whole thing. Okay.
That's awesome. Yeah,
Oh,
that's
man.
good.
Well, I'm so glad you guys enjoyed it. And
That was
Yeah.
connected with it.
beautiful. I'm gonna put a reminder on my calendar right now to grab that on Friday.
Yep.
Oh, cool. Thank you.
Yeah.
And we're gonna get this episode out, so it will debut with the song.
Yeah, that'd
so
be
we'll have this
Oh,
out today.
okay.
There you
We're
go.
Well, that's a pretty good turnaround. Most people
Bump
are
it
like,
on,
yeah.
we're gonna bump it on up.
I love it.
Yeah, yes. David, thank you so much for taking time with us today. And thank you for sharing that beautiful song with us. It was just so heart touching to me as a mom of adult kids now,
Yeah.
those days. And you are kind of training them up for all those things and just
Yeah.
teaching them how to walk and all the things. And now they're just running on their own. And so, whew, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Beautiful thing.
It is a beautiful.
Thank y'all so much. Y'all
Yes.
are awesome. Thank you for being my friends and just for asking me to be on this. This has been awesome.
Absolutely,
man.
David. We look forward to watching you with much success in the future.
Thank you.
Okay, take
Yeah.
it easy.
Have a great
Give
day.
the best to the kids for me. All right.
All
We
right.
sure will.
Thank you.
Take
Bye,
care.
guys.
Rebecca, were you crying a little bit
A
there?
little bit. I got a little teary-eyed.
Get a little emotional?
Yes, it's
Yeah, that
just
was so good.
thinking back to just being in the trenches, raising
Yeah.
those kids, but also what a blessing it is. And like waking up to you makes it sound delightful. And it really is.
Well, some days
Yeah.
are delightful. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I was thinking, waking up to you, very sweet and whatever. But in my mind, also, I'm thinking of the times they just run and jump on you in the bed, and it's time to get up, and it is.
Well, now
You're
we don't
jarred
want
away.
we don't want Jake to do that now. We don't want any of them to
None
do
of
it.
them.
They're all 6'4",
Yeah.
so no jumping on the bed.
No jumping on
Yeah,
the bed.
you have to be under 5 foot to jump on the bed with us. So, and I just love it. You could see in that moment, like, we lost Tribble for a moment there.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
when he got into the song, it was so cool to see him just get lost in that song.
Yeah, I love it.
And that's just, you can tell that's a performer that they're just getting lost in the song.
Yeah,
So, and
yeah.
not thinking about anything else around them. So that
Yeah.
was pretty cool.
Totally, yeah. So we're so proud of him and all that he's accomplished. We hope you guys go out and grab this song on Friday. It's going to be awesome. I've already listened to a little bit of it even since we recorded this interview. I mean, I just can't stop.
Yeah.
So you guys are really going to love it. Hope you enjoyed this interview. Hardy Party at 5.5. Over and out.
We'll see you next time.
Now I can't let go. Gotta show you how to dream. Have you ever seen someone who first saw the sun? Took the first step. Will you teach them?